Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How are we doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm excited. Looking forward to
Mm.
learning a lot. Kingsley, please can you leave a message on the group chat so people can know that we've started? Good evening, everyone. So we're going to be starting by 6:05. We're waiting
Yeah.
for people to join us. Yeah, just waiting for people to join us. If you have friends, you can just send them messages, let them know that the webinar has started so they can join us. The more the merrier. Okay. So please let's call our friends, text them. I'm also doing that on my end. So we can start by 6:05. Welcome, Amalia. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Kudi. It's really nice to have you here. We're going to be starting by 6:05. We're waiting for more people to join us. So just stay glued to your seats. We're starting soon. Thank you. All right. Good evening, everyone. If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up or just drop a reaction. Let me know that I'm not the only one here. All right. Thank you, Chukudi. Thank you, Aliyah. Thank you, Kingsley. Good evening once again. I hope you all had a great week. Since we're not 100 people on this call, I believe we can, mute our mics once in a while to just say hello and respond to me. Who wants to tell me how their week went? Just very short and sharp. You can leave it in the chat so if you're shy. How was our week? Is somebody unmuted? I feel free now.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
good
Kingsley, go
evening.
ahead. Hi, good evening.
Yeah, so my week was so joyous. I'm sure that we all did extremely great. I mean, try to say this week for me, online it has been so tough. Trying as much as possible to make sure that I've been able to cover up so much from last year. Trying to resume from the work from the stuffs of last year, I had a lot of work that I was unable to do as a last year. So, I mean, this week has been so turbulent for me, trying as much as possible to finish up all that's my task.
Oh, thank you for sharing, Kingsley. I pray and hope that this week is a better one for you. The new week is going to be better for you by God's grace. Thank you very much for sharing. My own week was fine. I had to do a lot of new things. I had to be in front of the camera when I've gotten so used to being behind the camera. So it was pretty challenging, but it was something that I did and I'm proud of myself for doing. So my week was fine. Thank you, Kingsley. Kingsley is the only person that likes me on this call. Every other person does not like me because it's the only one that works for me. But yeah, thank you very much. So before we dive right into today's webinar, I have a few things that I want to share. So first thing is, please keep yourselves muted if you're not speaking, just so that we can hear each other clearly and there's little to no audio interruption. And then if you have any questions, any comments, please leave it in the chat box. I'll be actively monitoring it to see if anybody has anything to say at any point in time. And finally, this session is being recorded. So if you have any reason to, leave while we're in the webinar, feel free. You can always just come back to rewatch it. We'll upload the video on our YouTube channel. Kingsley is going to be sharing the link to our YouTube channel later on. So please keep your eye on the chat box so you don't miss that. So yeah, tonight's topic is something that when I saw the theme of the webinar, I was like, this is very interesting. And I had a couple of questions come to mind that I'm really looking forward to getting answers to today, right? So as you can see on my screen today, we're talking about systems over goals. My name is Ayomide Olayinka, and I'm going to be the facilitator for tonight's webinar. Now, you might be thinking, why systems over goals? Shouldn't it be goals first and then systems, right? Because coming into the new year, everybody always has new year resolutions. You want to hit the gym more often, you want to learn a new language, you just want to do a couple of things, right? We're so used to setting goals. But what does systems have to do with goal setting, right? That's what we're going to learn today. We're going to know why we should be choosing systems over goals. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our speaker. Just give me a second, guys. I'm going to introduce our amazing speaker. Okay. Yep. All right. So today, oh my network. Can you guys still hear me? Please give me a thumbs up or something. So I know. Okay, thank you very much, Chukudi. Thank you. So to help us unpack the theme of this webinar, I am thrilled to introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Emmanuel Akinseye. Dr. Akinseye is a medical doctor with a deep interest in adult health, business thinking, and personal growth. Beyond traditional healthcare, it focuses on helping people build sustainable systems for growth, better decision making, and long term success. He's passionate about mentorship, guiding young adults and professionals from reactive living to intentional growth. He blends faith, strategic thinking, and real world application, helping people build systems that can withstand pressure. Finally, he's the CEO, Chief Commander of Thrive Grid. Please, you guys, join me in welcoming Dr. Emmanuel Akinseye.
Good
Clap,
evening,
clap,
guys.
guys. Clap, 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 clap. Good evening, Dr.
Good
Emmanuel. It's a
evening.
pleasure to have you here. We're so excited.
Good evening, guys. How are we all doing? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank
Ooh.
you for joining in. I hope we had a restful festive season. I was just reading somewhere. I don't know if I was reading somewhere, but I was having a chat, and I remember seeing recently, and someone was saying that usually the new year doesn't really start till um till March, till March or till the end of February, because people are in the mood of celebrating the new year in January, and before you know, Valentine has come. I think I saw it somewhere on status or something, and Valentine. So people properly will move out of those celebratory mood till the middle of February and all those things. Quite interesting. So, welcome everyone, Tribe Grade, back to Tribe Grade. We realized that this time around we didn't make the first webinar as the publicity as great as we usually do, because we wanted to make it more intimate conversation in that sense. But moving forward, we increase our this thing for the year in that sense. But what we are trying to do is we are trying as much as possible to create something for the team or for the people in Tribe Grade. And this particular webinar is to see how we can make the best out of the year. Right. How we can make the best out of the year. It's not just about entering into a new year. A year doesn't come with great expectations because it is new. You know, when people are going into the new year, prayers, this new year is going to be great for you. And this new year is going to be a load of blessing, blah, 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 right? Things like that. So the fact that the year is new doesn't mean it comes with something new in that sense. 2026 can be good and better for some people, and it can also be worse for some people. I'm just saying. So what differentiates or what makes the year productive is not because it's a new year. All right. And if we understand that, then we understand why when we go into the new year, we are going to make out the best for the year. It means that we need to be strategic about the year. There's the place of always wanting to start something new with excitement. All right. When people want to start, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to start this new project, I'm going to start this, I'm going to do this business, I'm going to start this. Everybody wants to start something new. There's that enthusiasm with anything new. Okay. It's just like, and that's how life is. Life will always gravitate into something new, and life will never always end without that, excitement. So, and that applies to many things, right? A friendship, you see people, there's a particular, you're meeting with a new friend, like, oh, it's as though the friend is the best friend they've ever met in their life. And after a while, it goes down, okay? But they're starting something, it's just like that's the best thing else they've never done, and something new comes in. Right. So the new year, all right, is not just about a year that is loaded with something, lots of spectacular things, it's what you can make out of the year. Okay. And so we will start with the aspect of goals. Okay. I used to tell people, and I'll say this, people are not, people don't lack ideas. Likewise, people don't lack goals. Okay. And this applies to every aspect of our life, to life, academics, finances, relationship, different things like that. It's not that they don't have a goal. If you go and meet somebody that is poor, right, and you ask him, what's your goal in life? The person will give you a goal in life. I will tell you that, oh, me too, I want to be riding this thing. I want to be wealthy. I want to have my own house. I want to have my this. I want to have my, I want to be able to. So the having the idea or having a goal is never the problem. Nobody lacks an idea. I don't think there's anybody on this earth that lacks an idea that or lacks a goal. There might be difficulty in communicating it, but in reality, in their own way, they have an idea of what they would want to be. They have a goal of what they want to be. Okay, so if we understand that, we understand that having a goal, all right, is not the end point of life. Okay, it's just like saying, for example, if I tell you that I want you to go to Abuja and I'm giving you a map to Abuja, okay? The fact that I've given you a map that is going to Abuja doesn't mean that you've gotten to Abuja, right? So that means goals are just a map, okay? Goals are just a map. But for you to get to Abuja, you either have to decide, okay, this is what I'm going to go to. If I want to go to Abuja, I need to book a plane, or I need to go by bus. If I'm going to go by bus, it's going to take me 12 hours or 11 hours. If I'm going to go by plane, I'm going to go by 45 minutes. But if I go by plane, I need to have this so amount of money. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If I get to Abuja, am I going to call someone that I'm going to live in? Or I'm going to go to a friend, I'm going to book an hotel. If I'm going to book an hotel, I need to do this. So you can see that I've given you a map. You are going to Abuja, this is the map. And that is what goals are. So it's not about having that, oh, I have amazing goal. The goals are destinations, all right? You might start the year and say that, oh, I've written 10 goals, I've written 20 goals, I've written 50 goals, I've written, all right? That goals that you have written, even if you got it by the inspiration of God, even if you got it from a mentor, if you got it by revelation, it's just a map. All right. So it doesn't mean that you are living in it or you would get there. Okay. So when people have goals, and as I feel like there are many things that, like you said, I remember when I was reading a book, right? And it was saying something and it's clearly stated, gym subscription is usually on the rise every new year. Every new year, there is statistics to it that every new year gym subscription, because everybody have a goal to remain fit. Okay, but they don't have a plan. I just have a goal to remain fit. I will book the gym and it looks nice, And after that, Valentine, even before Valentine, right? After this thing, more, man, it's been busy, man. So it's not about the goals. So a lot of people, so when they have goals, when you start the year, what you are just bringing together is that you're having a lot of maps. You're having a lot of maps. You're having a lot of maps. All right. And so in this new year, what we should do is that, so and when we are saying building systems over goals, we are not saying that goals are not important, but we are saying that building a system is the most important thing to having a goal. If you have a goal, let me tell you something. If you have just one goal, all right, and you have a system that made you, manifest or actualize that goal, you are much better than someone that has up to 10 goals, all right, and is not able to do that. Okay. Another thing I'm also going to talk about here is that there's something beautiful about creating a system, all right? And I'm going to talk about the quote towards the end by Aristotle, okay? He said something. He said, excellence is not a act, it is an habit, all right? So when people, and this is the way you should see it, all right? So when you want to create a goal for the next year, see it this way, or for this year rather. Don't put it this way as I want to create a goal for this 2026. Rather put it this way. I want to create an habit for 2026. Okay. If you say, I want to make 500 million, my goal is to make 500 million, rather than say my goal is to make 500 million, say, I want to create an habit that will make me make 500 million. They are two different things. Okay. So, because people think the goal is just a glorified this thing, but what you are actually doing, what you should also create is create an habit. And a lot of times people don't, because a lot of us don't create habits. Sometimes some people can do stuff, and they're able to get it. But another thing is because they cannot recreate that. They fail to recreate that because the process was not an habit to them. All right. If I tell you today that there's an habit that you can do, okay, of doing something, you can always do it again because that's become an habit. All right. So if we create system, it means that when we say we are creating system over goals, it's not something highfalutin. It means that we are creating an habit, all right, that we can help us actualize the goal that we want to achieve. All right. And also, once we have created that habit, we can always recreate the process again. Okay, we can always recreate the process again. I remember listening to, and this is some years ago, all right, I was listening to Stephen Harvey, and he was saying something, all right, very, very interesting, very important. He said that your first $1,000 is going to be the most difficult. Okay, he said once you've created that, once you are able to have that habit that made you that $1,000, all you need is to repeat the process 10 times and you have what? $10,000. All right, repeat the process and you have what? So you can see here, the point is not about creating just a goal. Okay, it's about creating a system. All right, it's not just creating a goal, it's about creating a system. It's about forming habits. So when you are, if you have your notepad, and there's something I did this year, I got a notepad that I didn't write journal. There's still we have journals, goals, all those things. So I created a note. I bought a notepad, look for a specific notepad that had weekly this thing, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And the beautiful thing in that notepad is that it had something like a tracker. So I created that tracker as an habit. So I tell myself this week, this is the habit. So I put habit, right? This is what I want to do. 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 Okay. And in the process of creating that habit, okay, though I have a goal, all right, but in my goal, I have a system, all right. But that system, what I am doing is that I'm making my system now a habit, all right. Now, if I'm committed to that habit, what I will do is that I'll definitely be able to actualize my goal, all right. But not only will I be able to actualize my goal, I can repeat the process. Okay, I can do what? Repeat the process. And that is very, very, very important. That is what? Very, very important. I have seen that most of and I'm going to ways I've spoken with people that are wealthy and things like this, all right? And that's why they tell you that very wealthy people are very boring. And I'll give you this. Many of us desire people that are so wealthy. You desire to be wealthy. You look, at those guys, but their life is so very boring. Do you know why? Because people that are at the top, right? They are people that are committed to routines. Okay, they are committed to routines, but that's not interesting. A lot of us like a very chaotic life. For example, I wake up in the morning, I press my phone a little bit, and then all of a sudden I do that, and I realize, oh, it's 15 minutes to work. Then I started rushing. You enjoy that. Oh, I got to work at 8 o'clock. You get to work, you do what you need to do. Then your break time, you do some Instagram, you go back again, you do some, few things. Oh, I have this goal. Let me do this. Let me do this. I go again, do some chaotic, my life is not, it's not straightforward. Just I don't want chaotic stuff. Do another. You like that adrenaline, do that again. Okay. and you keep doing that every day in your life, right? But people that are seen to be at the top, all right, their life is so boring. Routines are so boring. And that's just the truth. And that's why it's very difficult for people to actually actualize. So a lot of people find it difficult to create goals. Okay, because we love the chaos. All right, we love the chaos. All right, we can't stay committed to the boring stuff. Okay, systems are boring, routines are boring. Okay, I'm doing a course recently and it's on artificial intelligence, and I was seeing the process, just looking at machine learning and everything, and I can see that this routine, it's almost like the stuff is doing routine, but it is in this routine that we can get the effectiveness, and that is so boring. All right, so naturally our nature, okay, loves that form of chaos. It is not even being about an extrovert or being non-extrovert. Yeah, this is about being, creating habits. So we love that. You love that tension, that here and there. So, for example, I'm starting this thing. I have a goal this year. I'm going to make money. I'm going to do this. You don't remember that, right? You rather say, okay, so once money come, you do this, you do this. You remember, oh, one big money come, I'm going to put that big money there. The other money you get, you spend it, you do this, you do that, there isn't no discipline stuff. But for example, someone else will say, okay, I want to do this, but I'll be disciplined enough to get this amount every time. All right. So that's a discipline. That's an habit. Whether they feel like it or not, they will do it. Okay. And that's one thing about the people that are at the top. The people at the top, they are very boring. I remember when I was reading, there was a book on I can't remember, it was a book on sales. Okay. And this person was describing someone that um, is into sales and very productive person. Okay. And he said that this man will wake up in the morning and will send over 50 mails, right? I think there was those days of people still use mails, but that time mails was the main thing to, adverts like were not this common in social media and all those things, right? So people were more dependent on mails to speak. So you wake up in the morning, send a certain amount of mails every day from a particular time to a particular time. Now, that kind of person, do you think that morning he doesn't want to play with some of his friends? He doesn't feel like just relaxing a bit, and maybe when he's 1 hour, remember, oh, I've not done this, let me just do this. So habits are very boring. All right, routines are very boring, and that is one of the reasons why a lot of people cannot create systems to build their goal, because we love the chaos, you love the adrenaline, you love that distraction is not because you don't like your goals, but that distraction entertains you. You get what I'm saying? It gets the best of all of us. All right, you wake up in the morning, for example. That's one thing I said I'm going to do this year. you know this morning I don't touch my phone till like 12 or 11, or so when I'm in my lunch break. I don't do that. I don't get a message, I don't reply, I don't do anything, right? Because I know that I want to put my most effective or my most dedicated thing to that hour. After that hour, I can do other things. So there are people like that, all right? They stick to routines, they stick to systems. So when you look at machine, why machines are more effective than humans is that machines are very rigid with routines. Okay, so you can see in something where a in the human factor you can be accurate up to 60 something percent, but a machine will be accurate 90 something percent. Why? Because they can stick to routine and keep repeating that over and over again. But in our lives, we love the chaos. The chaos is good, all right? Okay, I'm not saying you should be so rigid, okay, because people can be so rigid sometimes and can stiffen creativity in their life. We're not saying you should stiffen the creativity. We are saying you should create a system, and in creating a system, it is usually very boring. Okay, creating a system is not always sweet. Okay, but so in this process, in this meeting, we are trying to see how we can demystify, okay, and see how we can make it easier to create a routine. Okay, so there was something I said, for those that probably follow me on my WhatsApp and all those things, in the beginning of the year, or maybe the day before the year, I wrote something. I said, in this year, if you are going to create anything, and I also did that on my Instagram. All right. Um, so I just spoke about it, and I wrote that there are three things you should do. You should clarify, okay? And this is the model. Now we're going to discuss this model. Clarify, simplify, and act. Okay? Clarify, simplify, and act. Any this thing you want to do, use these three model. If you want to, you have a goal, all right? Have clarity, create, clarify, simplify, and act. Okay. If you can use this model, you will realize that what you are able to achieve you are able to create a system around anything. So just before we move on, okay, we are into the new year. I already said we are going into the new year. Okay. Um some people new year has not started. Some people are still chilling, which is good. Some people are still taking personal retreat. Some people are still relaxing. Some people are just gathering momentum. Okay. It's not about when you start. Okay. In fact, I used to tell people you don't have to. Some people have even started from day one, new year. Ooh, they've picked off. It's not about when you start. Okay. It's about having clarity. If the clarity process is going to take you 1 month, that is good. Okay. Rather than you jumping up from the 2nd of January and starting this. And that's why when I was talking with him in December, I said we don't need to put this meeting earlier in the January. We should put it like 2nd week, 3rd week in January. All right. Let the momentum reduce. Okay. And so that people that will have this conversation are people that say, how can I improve myself? Not just people that are running with the enthusiasm of, oh, it's a new year. Okay. All right. So reflecting. And this is one thing we need to do. When a lot of us are moving into a new year, we just go into the new year that I expect this new year to be great, and we don't take reflection. So the very first thing, or the very first thing you need to look in your, for this new year is, if the new year is going to be better, the first thing you need to do is to reflect on 2025. Okay, reflect on 2025. If you have not done that, I will advise you to do that. Okay, take a deep reflection, take a note, and reflect on it. Now, the reflection is not to see is not to see if the year was great or not. Okay, nobody cares. Okay, the past is in the past. Okay, if it was great, that's fine for you. If it wasn't great, that's fine. So it's not about whether the year was great or not. That's not the essence. It wasn't about it whether 2025 was a successful year or it wasn't a successful year. Okay, so that's not the reason why you should reflect on 2025. Okay, but it's important to reflect, okay, so that you can recognize what were the things that I could improve on, or what are the things I do not need to improve on. Okay, I'm going to talk about some 4 layers of things that you can do, okay, especially when you are reflecting. I learned this from a business book, okay, and it's almost like a blue ocean strategy, okay, and I think I discussed it in my team, okay, and you can apply that to anything, okay. People apply that to businesses when they are creating the business, both in new or an existing business, and it's almost like dividing into red ocean and blue ocean, okay. Now, what it means is that, what are the things that you don't even need in your life? Okay, what are the things? There are some things that you are doing, okay, but that thing you don't even need it in your life. So what are things in 2025 that I'm doing that thing, it doesn't even make sense? All right, take note of those things. All right, what are the things that I am not doing well? All right, but despite I'm not doing well, I don't even need to continue with it. All right, see, first thing, what are the things you are doing in your life, in 2025 rather, that you don't need to do? What are those things? List them out. You will realize that there are many, some or not necessarily many. There are some things like that you don't need to. What are the things that I'm doing that I don't need to do well? I don't need to do. All right. The other thing is, what are the things that I'm not even doing well, and that thing I don't even need it? Okay. What are the things that I'm doing? I'm underperforming, Despite me underperforming, I don't even need it in my life. Now, so that's those two things I've said. All right. Let's look at it as the red ocean. Okay. And you can apply it to business, your business also. What are the things that I'm doing that I'm not that I'm doing? I don't even need it in my business. Okay. What are the things that I'm underperforming? All right. But they are not, I don't even need it. I don't need to do that. Okay, now. Let's move to the next one. The next one will now be what are the things that I'm underperforming, but I need to do in my life? So you need to improve on those things. Okay. What are the things I need to do in my life? Okay. All right. What are the things I'm doing in 2025? I'm underperforming in it, but I need to improve on that. So that's one. Then the next one is what are the things I'm not even doing in 2025 that I need to do in 2026? So you can see. So I've categorized them into four. Two you don't need to do, two you need to do. All right. So the first two that I mentioned, see them as the red ocean. You need to dump them. The later two that I mentioned are the things you need to do again. All right. I'll stop now just so that we can be sure can somebody just repeat those four? Is there anybody that wants to repeat that? Just to see where we're all going.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so what are the things I'm doing that I don't need?
Yeah.
What are the things I'm doing that I don't need and I'm underperforming in them? What are
Yeah.
the things I need in my life that I am underperforming in? And what are the things I need but I'm not doing?
Exactly. Thank you so much, Chooks. Thank you, Dr. Chooks. So divide that. So when you are reflecting in 2025, you should divide that. Okay. I meant to share a slide, but don't worry, I won't share the slide so you will not be distracted. Okay, I'll just be talking. Is that okay, guys? Fine. So divide those things. So I'm saying that reflect on 2025. Okay, 2025. Because before you enter into the 2026, what do you want to build on? Because sometimes this is it. When I tell people or someone's coming, oh, this 2026, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Like 2026 is not new. Do you understand? Is the Friday you slept on Friday. Friday was 31st of the next year. Monday is, Saturday is the first of the other year. You are continuing. So there's nothing different from 2026, from 2025. So it's always perturbing when you see people don't take reflection of 2025 or don't take stock of 2025 and you just want to build 2026 as though you knew. All right. So if you are building your this year that way, you are already setting yourself on a course to have an unproductive year or have an unproductive year. I don't want to say, you're already setting yourself, that way. So take a reflection back in 2025. Have this category, all right, and look at it. What are the red ocean that I need to ignore, and what are the blue ocean? And you can do that also in business, okay? You can do that also in anything. You can apply. I realize I can apply that in every aspect of my life, all right? So now, once you're able to reflect on that, okay, you have seen the areas that you are underperforming, okay, all right, that you can improve on in 2026, all right. Now, and areas that you are not even doing anything, but you think you should start doing something in 2026. Now that you have them, you should not say, how can I create a goal from these two areas? Okay, how can I create a goal from these two areas? Okay, now once you've created this goal, then the next thing is how can I create a system? All right. Now, to now create a system, you have to now clarify, simplify, then you now begin to act. Okay. If you don't have clarity, okay, it will be very difficult to act. Okay. If you don't have clarity, it will be very difficult to act. Sometimes when someone comes to tell you and say, I want to be very wealthy. Okay, I want to make money. The first thing, the question I will ask, what does it mean to make money? Sometimes a lot of these days, one of the things I always try to do is when people talk with me is to try to get them out of their definition. Okay. Because a lot of us have definitions to things, but we don't even know what that is to us. All right. Sometimes some people can see someone and say that, oh, maybe the person that was wealthy, I met someone that was doing well in business, or he just had an image and define that as success, right? And that's their definition. So, but they don't understand anything about that. So you tell them, oh, I want to make a million, or I want to be a millionaire. Ask them, what does it mean to be a millionaire? All right. Well, you ask them, what does it mean to be a millionaire? I have a million in my account. All right. Do you think most of those people that are millionaires actually have 100 millions in their accounts? All right. Do you get what I'm saying? When they tell you somebody's net worth is $1 trillion or something billion or something million, it doesn't mean that in his account there is $1 million that is sitting in his account. That's just the truth. It doesn't mean they have in an account that is sitting down. If you see someone that say his net worth is $100 million and say that $100 million is sitting in my account, then most likely the person is into fraud. Okay, all right. You won't see them in that way. You will rather see them that they have a business that they are doing, or they have an investment portfolio. When you bring that out, altogether you can sum that as that net worth. So, but someone that is saying that I want to have a millionaire, to him, he just think millionaire means he will have millions of naira in his account. Okay, so he doesn't have an idea that, oh, it means that I must create something of value. He doesn't understand that to be a millionaire means, oh, either I have an investment portfolio, okay, that has this net worth, or he doesn't understand that, oh, if I'm going to do this, it means there's some high network, this thing that I must be in contact with. So he doesn't have that idea. He just has an idea. This thing is, I want to be a millionaire. Now, can you tell me, do you think this person can achieve that goal? No. Do you get what I'm saying? That person cannot achieve that goal. Okay? And that's why if you realize, people will tell you, and I don't know if you guys have heard this story, people that win lottery, they tend to lose it in the first, no, don't let me say all of them, but there is a statistic that more than over 50% lose it in the first year. All right? People that win lottery, okay? This lottery that people will own a lot, because you suddenly give them lots of money. They want to be wealthy, but they don't have an idea of what it means. So money, and I'll tell you guys, money is not the problem. Okay? No, it's not the financial stuff. Money is never the problem. Okay? If somebody is struggling financially, all right, money is never the problem. Okay? We can learn that from those that win lottery. They win lots of lottery, all right, and in the first year, they've lost more than half of what they had. Recently, I stumbled on something, and this is, some of you might know, I think there was a particular guy, the story, I never really knew about the story until I stumbled on this, somebody talking about the story. And I don't know if the story was they were trying to raise help for the girl or something. The guy was someone that sells bottled water and all those things, okay? And when the guy got, so I think they took a video of him. So when he's selling his bottled water, he was explaining, why water is good. It's almost like he's, academic in the streets, explaining this is why water is good, this is why it's this is this. So the video was spreading, and I think Thermocool and all those things saw it, and they contacted him, they gave him some money in millions. I think it made him an ambassador. I don't know if it was a brand ambassador, but you could see they reached out to him, they gave him stuff. He started they opened almost like a shop or a store for him and all those things. And lots of money came in and all those things. The way these things comes, when people come into limelight, there are a lot of things that come with it. Back in 2-3 years now, the guy is so poor, almost back to the street again. Why? He had the money, he had the popularity, he had everything. Why has he gone back to that state? So money is never the problem. Okay, money is never the problem. So likewise, goals is never the problem. It's all about system. System is usually the problem. So when we are saying I want to achieve something, okay, and I want to do something, what do we mean? Ask yourself, this new year, say this new year I'm going to be productive. What does it mean to be productive? Do you get what I'm saying? This new year I'm going to do better. What do you mean that you're going to do better? Do you get what I'm saying? This new year I'm going to be fit. What does it mean to you to be fit? Do you get what I'm saying? Understand what is it? Because that's what we need to do. You need to clarify. And I'm talking about why you should clarify. Because anything that you have not been able to clarify, you can never act on it. Okay? So the foundation of success, all right, is clarity. All right. Clarity is the foundation of success. In fact, clarity is the bedrock of an effective system. Okay. You cannot create an effective system if you don't have if you don't have clarity of what you want to achieve. All right. You can't have an effective system if you don't have a clarity of what you want to achieve. So the first distinct of creating and achieving a goal is to what? Have clarity. All right. If this year I want to be a better speaker, all right, what does that mean? What does it mean to be a better speaker? You know, have clarity around that. Or it means that, okay, I'm going to be speaking more fluently. If I have a lot of pauses, I'm going to remove that. You know, I'm going to increase my lingual vocabulary, you know, things like that. So there's clarity around that. Okay. All right. If it means that, oh, I'm going to make more money, what does that mean? Does that mean that for me to make more money this year, it means that I probably might improve, you know, get a new job that will pay me more? Or does that mean that some of my money I'm going to invest it that's going to give me more money? Does that mean that I'm going to add this side also? What does that mean? I'm going to make more money, not just say I'm going to make more money. All right. So when you begin to do that, you're already having clarity. All right. You're already having clarity of what you want to do. Okay. Now that these things are now becoming clear. Okay. And in fact, I used to say any idea, and this is it, there's no idea that will come polished. Every idea that comes to you, any goal that comes to you, you know, will usually come in a chaotic manner. All right. It is your responsibility, okay, to now tell yourself and say that, okay, this stuff that's come chaotic, how can I refine it? All right. Chaos comes with creativity, or creativity comes with is chaos. All right. But that creativity must not be refined into system. Okay. You know, must not be refined. People will say that, oh, some of these important people are very creative. They're Steve Jobs, they are very creative. Yes, the way they think is very creative. But to actualize what they do, all right, they need to refine it through a disciplined routine, all right, or discipline system. So if you are having a lot of ideas, you are someone that you usually have a lot of ideas, and you are not, you know, you are realizing that you are not creating or actualizing those ideas. So ideas is never your problem. It's just because you have not learned to discipline yourself to stick to routines and systems. Okay. So first of all, you have clarity. After you've created clarity, what is the next thing? Then you now begin to simplify. All right. So I know that's what I want to do this year. I want to have more money, or I want to be a better speaker. You know, I want to be more involved in leadership engagement. Okay, now that's it. What does that now mean for me to do that? Okay, so someone will say I want to be involved in more leadership engagement. So this year I'm going to try and see how I can get involved in activities where I'm going to be more involved in, you know, leadership opportunities. What does that mean? Okay, that means that I'm going to volunteer for roles. Oh, you're going to volunteer for roles. So you look at it, okay, it means I'm going to volunteer for roles. So which or what organizations or what platforms am I in right now that I can volunteer? So he looks at his, oh, he looks at all the platforms that he uses. Okay, I mean this platform, I mean this platform, I mean this platform, this platform. Okay, so what I'm going to do this year is I'm going to write to them that I would like to volunteer for a role if it's available. So it looks like 2, 3, 4, 5, and list them out and send them. Okay, these are these things. Oh, it might also mean that if I'm going to improve on that, I'm going to go on YouTube, you know, to takes to learn about leading among these things. So he looks at what are the courses that will help my leadership skill. Oh, there's something about team resolution. Oh, there's something about resolving conflict in the team. There's something about communicating vision. So he looks at that to say, okay, I will go and watch. How will I achieve this? Okay. Will I take a course? Oh, a course might be expensive for me at this moment. Okay, I'll go for free content that I can learn this. Okay, I'm going to go on YouTube. Okay, so you can see you're not simplifying them. You're not simplifying them. You're simplifying them. You're simplifying them. Or we can come back to someone that said that, okay, what I want to do is that I want to do speaking engagements. Okay, what does that mean? I'm going to improve my speaking, and all those things. So that means this year I'm going to put myself out for anything speaking. All right. Is there any program where people invite stuff out, involve and see how I can facilitate, and do speaking? Or will I go on online to see how to improve my vocabulary skills? Okay. Does that mean that I'm going to watch stuff that are more English oriented? You are beginning to, refine yourself. Oh, okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to watch some of the TED talks. This guy talks a lot, okay, and I love the way they speak. How many of you have seen like Wasabi TED talk? Oh my God! If you have not watched it, go and try and watch it. That guy is great. He's a great communicator. So, so say I'm going to go and watch that TED talk, okay, to see how like you are. So you can see you are beginning to break it down. Oh, this year it means I want to make a lot of money, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to. So you can see you're beginning to see that goal. Yes, like what it's beginning to gain clarity. All right, this is what it means. Now that clarity is now simplifying them. It's not simplifying them. So that goal that looks obsolete, or that looks like it's in the cloud, or that looks like it's just here and there, it's chaotic. What have you done? You have broken down and you have created what? Routines around it, systems around it. Okay. Now, when you have created it, you have created those systems. It's almost like you're not having a chunk of those things. Okay. When you are doing those things, it might look like you are doing something little. For example, the person that wants to do work on leadership stuff and is watching a YouTube video that's talking on leadership. If you take that in isolation, it might not look great, but what you simplify, all right, I want you to note this. What you simplify eventually amplifies. Okay? What you simplify eventually amplifies. So if you don't know how to simplify, all right, your goals, okay, you will not be able to manifest and you will not be able to amplify them. Okay. I used to say something. See, anything that you can create, any idea or any good that you can see that you can create, clarify on those things, simplify them, all right, and you will see that you even achieve much more than you can. All right. I believe that there is a potential in every human being to create much more than what they desire. Okay, so if I say that I want to, if your desire is becoming to be a millionaire, let me tell you something. If you commit yourself to it, you will see that there is an ability within you to create even much more. It's in every individual. Okay, but the problem is that we are often our limitation. All right, the environment is not your limitation, you are the limitation. Okay, so simplify. I had clarity now. I'm going to simplify this and I'm going to act on it. Okay. So, like I said, whatsoever you simplify, you are giving that thing permission to amplify itself in your life. Okay. So if you have a goal, if you have this thing, simplify them, then what? You are giving them permission to amplify. Now that you have simplified those things, now look at it and say, how can I create an habit out of these things? Can you see where I'm going to now? How can I create what? An habit out of those things. All right. So does that mean, so for me to create an habit, what am I going to do here? Okay. So let's now say, for example, I'm still using the speaking engagement, or someone that is volunteering for a leadership role. What habit does this person have to do? Okay. So the person says that I will try every evening when I'm relaxing, okay, or someone that wants to listen to TED talk, or that wants to improve their speaking engagement every evening when I am, free, okay, or from work, or when I'm in my vehicle or and I'm driving down or I'm in a vehicle or that is driving me home or something, I'm going to be listening to a TED talk. And let's say that is 20 minutes. 20 minutes. So every day it becomes an habit that when he's taking a walk back home, he's listening to a TED talk. Okay. And by listening to that, he's building his confidence. Can you see that? So it becomes an habit. Every evening, once I close from work, 5 p.m., I'm listening to a TED talk. All right. Once I'm doing this, I'm going to do that. What has he done? He has now created what he has simplified. He has an understanding around it. He's not creating a habit out of it. So even when he doesn't feel like it, after he has done that in few weeks, okay, it becomes an habit. Even when he's not following, he keeps it listening and something is happening. Okay, he's building his confidence. Oh, very soon you start seeing that he's able to speak that way. There's a confidence to speak. There's, to tell you that it takes 21 days to create and to form an habit. Okay, so the person has now created what? An habit out of what he has simplified. So that's what you are acting on. All right, so that's the action that you're taking. The action is to create an habit out of what you have simplified. Okay, clarify, simplify, then act. How do you act? Create an habit out of that. Okay, so for example, I've realized and I've seen people that in med school, right? You'll see people that's doing very well, all right? Those guys, and you look back in reflection, we used to say, oh, they read a lot. They read a lot, but their reading has become an habit. People that we just let us go, um, these people can read 12 hours straight. Exam is coming, 12 hours. Ooh. But these guys that are at the top, they can't, you actually hardly see them read for 12 hours. Most of the ones I've seen, you hardly hear them say they read for 12 hours. They will read for 4 hours, but they are doing that every day. But the ones that, it's exam, they can go 12 hours. Some can even go 16 hours. Some will be reading and living their life reading. But this set of people will not do that. So during the exam time, you almost look like, you will look as though those people are not doing a lot. Like, oh, you guys, it's because they are sticking to their own routine. Okay, but you don't have a routine, you enjoy the chaos. So the chaos, that chaos doesn't mean it can push you, the adrenaline can push you to do things. Energy, all right. And some of us live on that, some people live on that, which is good. Okay, but if you want to get to that top, okay, you might learn that you don't need to expend your energy on those things. Okay, that way. All right, you might need to see that you spread out your energy, in a more productive way. So it's about building a routine. Okay, so I've acted, I've simplified, and what's the next thing I'm doing? I've clarified, I've simplified, and I'm acting. And the way I am acting is that I'm creating an habit from what I have simplified. Is that okay? And remember, I said anything that you learn to simplify, you must what? You must, anything that you simplify, you are giving that thing a permission to amplify itself in your life. If you say to your goals, if you create a goals and you simplify, you're able to simplify that goal, you are giving permission for it to what? To find expression. Now, when people talk about goals, when people talk about this thing, the funny thing, every new year we always talk about new year, new me. But then we don't celebrate revising that new year resolution. So that means people do things, but they don't refine. They don't, So give yourself, okay? Now that I've created a goal, now that I've simplified, now that I have mapped that an habit out of it. The next thing is, how do I measure? So I'll say this: measure, okay, adjust, reflect, measure, adjust / refine, reflect, on it, and continue and build. Okay. So now that you have an habit, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Give yourself a what? There's something they used to say, KPI, key performance in the pick a key performance indicator, or is it index? Now, what's the KPI? What is the measure that this habit I'm actually doing it? Okay, does that mean that in a week, if I if I stick to this habit 4 times in a week, it shows that I'm doing well. All right. If I'm doing less than 4 times, it means that I'm not actually doing well. So you are giving yourself a measure to it. Okay. All right. All right. So you keep doing that. You have a yardstick. So when people say I have a goal, I want to make 1 million. When do you know in the year that you have failed to make the million? Is it until December 31st that you will? For example, when people are running, all right, when people are running, the person that carry last, is it until he crosses the line that he knows that he's going to carry the last? How many of you watch track? Even you that you're an outside person that you're looking at it, you know that by the time they are, for example, like is a sprint, right? You know that around that 4 seconds, you already know the person that is most likely going to be last. Do you get what I'm saying? 5 seconds, you already know. The person that is last doesn't, he don't know, say, I go be last. Last, I try, maybe I enter 6. The person that is going to be first too would know that the position that I am, either I'm first, second, third, or fourth. You go know, it gets a place where you start knowing. So is it on the 31st you now know that what you are failed in your goals? So when do you want to measure? When do you want to adjust your goals? Sometimes you might start a goal and that goal might be unrealistic. Maybe you did not consider that your next job that you're getting was going to be tedious. Okay? Maybe you did not realize that you are going to give birth to a child in that year. Maybe you did not realize that you're going to get a new opportunity, okay? A new scholarship that year. Maybe you did not realize, all right, that something was going to happen. I'm just saying, but things that you never accounted for happen as the year is going by. So what would you do to that goal? Do I need to refine it? Do I need to reduce the yardstick? Do I need to, so give yourself that opportunity. Have a timeline to when you would redefine your goal. My 2025 goal, am I going to redefine every quarterly? Am I going to redefine every 3 months? Am I going to redefine every 6 months? Okay, so people don't do that. People run with goals and just living. Okay, so if you are committed to a goal, then you should be committed to the process of actualizing that goal. So one of the processes is what you have a measure yardstick, adjust and refine it, reflect on it. So when you adjust and refine it, you reflect on it and you continue the process. But the only thing I'm saying, and I want you to go with this, is that any goal that you create, ensure you make it an habit, because if you can make it an habit, then you can repeat the cycle. Okay, that is why you will see many of these guys. I used to say, you will see many of these top guys. There are periods in their life where they will declare bankrupts, right? But because they understand the process, they're able to repeat it again. Okay, if you have read this guy's book now, you will see the problems that he has had, but he understood this process and is able to repeat that. So guys, learn to every goal that I create, make that goal an habit, because the key of that habit is that what you are recreating, you're able to repeat the process. So I'm going to stop here. I think I might have gone. Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, I'll stop here.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Akinseye. Please, let's give him a round of applause, please. Let's celebrate him. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel. That was really insightful. I didn't even want you to stop, to be honest, but we have to be respectful and mindful of people's time. So, one part that really made me laugh was when you said wealthy people often seem boring because they stick to routines. So I think that's my own takeaway for the year, because if anybody calls me boring, it means I'm doing something right. I mean, so you guys should not be offended if people call you boring. It means you're definitely doing something right. So just a quick run through of some of the things I learned, because I learned a lot. I just kept noting things down, and whenever I saw thumbs up on the screen, I'll be like, wow, people are remembering to do thumbs up. I mean, I'm writing here, but yeah. Thank you, Kingsley. So I'll just run through some of the things that I highlighted. So the foundation of everything basically is clarity, right? A lot of us find ourselves setting goals, saying, oh, I want to be wealthy, I want to do this, I want to do that, but we don't really understand what it means to actually do those things, right? So if you want to be fit, if that's your goal for the year, you need to define what fitness means to you. Does it mean going to the gym regularly? Does it mean adding weight? Does it mean shedding weight? You need to define what it means to you. If not, you just go to the gym 1 day, 2 days, and then you just lose track of everything. So you need to define whatever you want to be, because like Dr. Akinseye said, clarity is the bedrock of success, right? And then after clarity comes simplifying. You need to break things down into actionable goals, because if you don't break a goal down, it is going to seem like a lot of work. Imagine me saying, okay, so I don't want to be going late for events anymore. I don't want to be going late to church anymore. And in my head, I'm just like, that means I have to wake up early. Now, it is not bad for me to say I want to be waking up early, right? It's just going to be better if I say, okay, for me to wake up early, I need to start sleeping early. So now I'm going to say, okay, my bedtime will move from, let's say I used to sleep at 11 p.m. before, I'll move it down to 9 p.m. or 9:30. That's a smaller actionable step that I can actually take to make sure that I achieve my goal of waking up early and going to church early, right? So and then Dr. Kinsey also said something that really stood out to me. He said, what you simplify actually amplifies. So if you simplify something, it's going to amplify, it's going to become bigger, it's going to become wider, basically. And finally, it's about acting, right? Doing the small things consistently until they become habits. Rome was not built in a day, right? You need to do things one at a time. I think there's the book Atomic Habits. I haven't read it finished, but there's something that people always say about that book, and it's the fact that if you keep doing something consistently for like 3 months or so, it becomes part of you. You just find yourself doing it. So don't beat yourself up if you fall out, in the first week. If you're not consistent, 2 weeks in, don't beat yourself up. Just keep on doing it. Like Dr. Kisha gave an example of, if you want to be a better speaker, you need to start listening. Maybe pick out people that you would love to listen to, and maybe on your way back home from work, maybe in the mornings when you're going to work, just make sure that you start listening to it, and from there it's going to be a part of you. So yeah, with that in mind, let's take a few questions. If you have any questions, please leave them in the chat. I'm going to go first because I have a question for Dr. Akinseye. So while I'm going, you guys please drop all your questions in the chat. You're not paying yet. Okay, our questions are going to be answered for free now. So ask now before we start charging. So yeah, Dr. Akinseye. Why are you laughing? I'm saying the truth now. We'll also start charging people.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, so my question is, please just give me a minute. I wrote it down, so I just want to pull it up. Okay, so my question, Dr. Akinseye, is for people who already have goals, right, and want to start. I'm coming up. I've not found. I need to pull it up because I wrote it. Okay, yeah, so I found it. So my question is, for somebody who already has clear goals but struggles with consistency, what is one system they can start building immediately?
Okay. So what I would say is consistency. I know that we can always say that consistency. Let me tell you something. We don't have a problem of consistency. You know why I say that, right? Is that someone that said that I find it very difficult to be consistent in something. You only find it difficult to be consistent in something. There are other aspects that in your life that you're consistent at, right? So if there are certain things in your life that you are consistent in doing, it means consistency is not a problem. Okay. So I used to say that a lot of times there's nothing like a consistency problem. I don't even believe people can say there's a discipline problem. Okay. Because you will see people that, for example, their room can be so neat, they can clean their room, you're right. But when it's about, going to this thing, they find a problem to that, okay? And they're like, oh, my problem is that I'm inconsistent. No, 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 no. Your problem is not consistency is not your problem, okay? Um, because if you look at your life, there are other aspects in your life that you are consistent at doing. There are some people, they are consistent at sleeping late, all right? Or they are consistent at watching football. For example, me, there's see, even if exam they go on, I go watch football,
Of
Arsenal
us
football.
now.
Do you get what I'm saying? Exactly. So I'm consistent at it. In fact, if I forget that, oh, there's a match, when it comes to that period when match usually goes on, something will remind me. Do you get what I'm saying? So I cannot now come in and say that, oh, going for a particular meeting or going to this or doing something is because I have a consistency problem. So first of all, I want you to that idea, because that's one of the things we do. When we don't achieve something, we are quick to give a definition. My problem is consistency. I have a consistency problem. I have a this. What you have done is that you have limited, you have created a barrier for yourself, and you will always live in that. So when you don't achieve that, you give yourself and say, oh, I have a consistency problem. Oh, I have a discipline problem. You don't have a consistency problem. You don't have a discipline problem. Okay? You're right, because there are other aspects in your life that you are consistent at doing. You get what I'm saying? Some people can have a financial problem and be consistent and be inconsistent financially and be consistent spiritually. Do you get it? Some people can be consistent and be inconsistent. So the problem is not about, consistency. The problem is not about discipline. Okay. So once you take that out, so don't say to yourself, I have a consistency problem, I have a discipline issue, I have a this. Okay. And if you follow this idea, okay, that you can look at, all right, if you have a clear goal, all right, if you have a clear goal, okay, the first thing you should ask yourself, why do I want to do this? For example, now, in this new year now, some people will say that, oh, because the pressure, I have goals. Everybody's asking, hope you have created your goal for this year. Hope you have created, be fast that you're starting a new year. People have that pressure of a new goal. Now, to some people in their life, they don't need a new goal. That's it. To some people in their life, they don't need a new goal. There's something they are already working on. All they need to do is improve on that. So, but because of the pressure of, oh, I need to start something new, I need to do something, they create something, but in-depthly, there is no need for that. So they will struggle with that, okay? So the first question you need to ask, these goals that I'm adding, is it really necessary? Do I need to add this new goal? What does it contribute to my life? Do you get what I'm saying? When you see, if you don't see a purpose in something, you will struggle to do what? To achieve that. So the first thing is there a purpose in it? If there's no purpose in it, then you don't need to continue with it. That's the first thing. You don't need to, there's this thing that, oh, I've started this, I've committed myself to it, I must finish it. No. If there's something that you've set as a goal, you look at it, is there a purpose in it? Does that resonate with me? That's the first question. It resonates with me. Okay. Then you now know that if this resonates with me, then what can we do? If it doesn't resonate with you, don't continue with it. Because if you continue with it, you will always struggle. All right. And you will call it inconsistency. And when you define that, you will now be putting that label or other aspects in your life. Okay. So that's the first thing. Okay. Now go through this model that we have said. Simplify. Now that you have simplified the model, and that's why we say simplify. Simplify will differ to different people. All right. For someone that, let's say, that wants to listen to an audio, okay, there are some people that cannot listen to an audio more than 15 minutes. There are some people that can listen to an audio straight up 40 minutes. So you simplify to your own taste, not to another person's taste. So what is it that I can do at my own time? So this, I'm going to read a book. Okay, for example, when people tell me that I'm going to read a book, and you want to read a book, how many books? You go and pick one big book. You that you've not successfully read a book of 50 pages at a go. You go, the next thing you're buying a book of 500 pages. How will you, do you get what I'm saying? So You don't start, oh, I want a goal of reading book. You're not going to carry 350 something pages book when you have not successfully read 100 pages book. So start small. So what is the simplest? There are some people that say they don't read book, but give them something of 5 pages. They will read it. So that means look at what is at your own, at my own level. Look for that stuff. This is so simple to me. I can do it conveniently. Now, once you can do that, then you now begin to build on it. Once you have seen that there's something, so for example, someone that wants to read, I'm good, my new year is to read books. I don't read books, I probably read books, okay? But the books that I read, I can't read a lot of pages at a go. That's fine. It's not a problem. Not all of us we have the same attention span. Okay. So look at something that is within your own this thing. What I will do, I'll commit myself to 100 pages of book in a month. Okay. And if I'm doing 100 pages of book in a month, maybe what I'll be reading 3 pages a day. The person can comfortably read 3 pages a day at any time. If it's in the morning, he reads that. So, but what that person has done is that by the time you do that, for some weeks, you are creating and creating a barrier. So, I can actually push further. But if the person starts with you 500 pages book, you want to finish it in a month, and you now say, oh, that means that I'm going to read a book for 10 pages in a day. It's not that it's a school exam book. The person will find it difficult. So that's the problem. So when we say simplify to your own taste, okay? Simplify if it's audiobook that you're listening. If you have never listened to an audio message of 1 hour before, why will you go and start with a audio message of 2 hours? For example, someone said that, oh, this year I'm going to be listening to spiritual audios. I'm going to listen to more messages. He has never sat down to listen to 30 minutes message when he's not in church. He now go and that's the thing. He now go and pick Apostle Sermon of 3 hours message. Do you get what I'm saying? To start with my Abba. Okay. When you not finish it, you not say, man, I struggle with this thing. No, you do not struggle with this thing. You are pushing yourself. Okay. So start with what is simple. If it's 30 minutes, start with that 30 minutes, and begin to build gradually. So that's what I would say. So it's still that process, but in that process of simplify, but simplify to something that is true to you, not what is general to everybody. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Akinseye. That was really helpful. I can see that there are no questions in the chat. So just so we don't waste so much of our time. I want to just take a quick moment to remind us what Thrive Grid is about, So for those of us who are joining us for the first time, you're very welcome. The name of this community is Thrive Grid, and it's a community focused on all-round growth for young adults, right? Young professionals, students, we're all here. We come together to have webinars like this where we educate ourselves, enlighten ourselves. We also have book readings, right? And then we have like discussions after reading. We read books across areas like finance, entrepreneurship, personal development, and life systems. And we don't just read for reading's sake. We don't just talk for talking's sake, right? We do things with the aim of applying everything that we learn. So with that in mind, I'll hand over to Kingsley, who will be introducing our book of the month. So yeah, let's start for Kingsley, please.
Okay, yeah, good evening, everyone. Yeah, so it's nice to meet us, and I want to say a very good thanks to everyone that joined. I know that it was a great moment for each and everyone, and we actually learned one or two things. And one of the things I really want to introduce with you is here today our book for the month, where we need to go through and learn one or two things properly in order to help us in our growth journey. And one of the things I want to let you know is that books don't actually judge the person that yes you are. They actually don't question your paces. So one of the things that I realized is that whenever you're tired and you need clarity on so many things, you want to relax, you meet they meet you, those books meet you on open ones, and they will either like tell you, oh yeah, this is the safe way in which you need clarity on. And another thing I really want to share to as many people that are here today is if you are going anywhere
in life. One of the things that yes you need to do is to dedicate yourself in reading. You need to dedicate yourself in reading a lot of books. It's gonna help you. And take out time to learn, take out time to read. So today we are going to be introducing today the book called Goals by Brain Tracy. And one of the things that yes we're looking out for here is persistent overrouting, clarity of desires, and break free from our limits. So there are a lot of reasons why books are actually interesting, but I believe that in going through all this, you're going to get not just clarity, but you're going to get something substantial to go with. Yeah, is what Tribe Grade is giving you. Please stay true in order to read it. We're going to send it to the group chat, so all of you guys are going to have access in the book. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kingsley. Thank you, Dr. Kinche. That's our Happy New Year gift. So everybody go and grab your copy of the book on the group chat. So as we come to the end of today's session, I want to say a big thank you once again to
Sorry.
Dr. Kinche. Okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to open this to this thing, so everyone that is that is listening. I'm happy to hold a clarity section with just two people from this meeting. If you want to, like, oh, for the year I want to have a clarity section, I'm just going to take for two people, okay, and we can book an appointment, online on the next weekend, and we can discuss for 40 minutes. Is that okay? Now, how are we going to do it? I'll give that to Ayomide. So you can, if you have access, you're on Tribrid or anything, message Ayomide, and say this is this and this. She's whosoever she takes, she's going to communicate with me, and I'm going to reach out to the person and we'll find a way. So just two people, that's what could be my New Year gift to anybody here. Okay. So thank you guys. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Akinseye. Thank you, everybody. So in fact, we don't need to take it to the group chat. If you're here and you want to benefit, I'm going to be picking the first two people to send their names or their email addresses, anyone on the chat box. So if you drop your name first and your email address, you're going to be a beneficiary. So your time starts now. First two people. If not, I'll put my name. I'll put Ayomide, I'll put Ola, and that means I'll have two sessions. So my eyes are on the chat box, you guys. Fastest fingers. Okay. Oh. If you are not in the group chat, Kingsley is going to be putting the link to join the group on the chat. Because I think I saw a message saying I'm new here. Welcome Tash Codes. You haven't joined the group. Don't worry, you're going to join. Or you can just drop your WhatsApp number so we'll add you to the group. Nobody's putting their name. Or is it my network? People don't want clarity session. Yeah, so the link to join our community is already in the chat. Yeah, so you people, fastest finger. Aliyah, you're no, you're in house. I did not see your name, please. Tash Codes, what's your name?
Thank you.
Just put your name so we can, Aliyah, yeah, sorry. Yeah, you guys, all right. So thank you once again. Thank you, Dr. Kinche, for sharing such practical tips. Okay, so Dara, click on the link and join our WhatsApp group chat and just leave a message there with your name. I'll reach out to you. Thank you, Dara. So if you'd like to revisit the conversation or share with anybody else, the session will be available on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, so you can follow us on our YouTube channel at Thrive Grid. We'll see the link short here as well. Thank you, Kingsley, our tech bro. So yeah, as you go into the rest of your week, remember that clarity comes first, systems come next, and consistency does the rest. And if people start calling you boring this year, take it as a compliment, okay? So yeah, thank you everyone. Thank you for being part of the Thrive Grid community. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. Mm.